welcome. We are here. It's another edition of Fightful's post show following SmackDown on the road to Survivor Series, which is just 1 week away. Doesn't seem like it. Thanksgiving is just a week away. I feel like Thanksgiving creeps up on us every year, but nonetheless, I am here. I've been here more than once, but you're probably confused because, again, I'm not Kate. I'm not a white woman. I am I am a dreadhead from Chicago.
Can I just say something? I'm glad you cleared that up for us, Phil, because some of us were just a tad bit confused when the show started.
But yeah, Kate is not here. She will be back next week. But in the meantime, you're stuck with me. But Alex is here, so there's some familiarity.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here with you. I love doing the shows with you. It's every time we do them, we have fun. So today's SmackDown, we talked off air. It was crazy.
A lot happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Very eventful stuff that's going to lead into, I think, both War Games matches. I still don't know where this Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens match is happening. They're teasing us on it possibly being Saturday Night Main Event, Survivor Series in Canada. But yeah, we'll get into all of that in a few. Of course, send in your super chats, send in your humper chats if you want to add to this conversation and let us know how you're feeling. Let us know how you enjoyed this episode of SmackDown. But yeah, straight away, we got Bloodline to start the show. Actually, sorry. We do have one super chat before we get into anything. Got one from Tim Ruza. He says, we're all here for the real chat. K. Mustard. I did not expect to wake up this morning to a Kendrick Lamar album. I've already listened to it 3 times. Great album so far.
Yeah, man. Pretty good.
Great album. So many, what a year for Kendrick Lamar. I mean, just from dropping Like That, the diss records, Where the Party Dies, and now dropping a full-length album, 12 tracks for you guys. If you have not checked that out, GNX is on your DSPs everywhere. It's up for West Coast, man. If you're a West Coast guy like my co-host on Grapsody, you got to be pretty happy.
For sure, man. He's so good, dude. He's so talented. Like you mentioned, what a year. I mean, God. You gotta be. He's so good and so intelligent with the way he's, his lyrics are, and he reminds me of that old school '90s, what I grew up with, the '90s rapper. Like these guys were just making albums, just in the studio all the time, whether they made it out publicly or they just put it out there themselves just for people to pick up. God, man, he has it. He has it.
Yeah, definitely Big Pac vibes. He samples a Pac record, and his flow on the song is very much Pac. Of course, he's a big Tupac fan, but yeah, you definitely get vibes of him trying to not just redo what Pac did, but also, like you said, like 90s hip-hop. There's definitely that vibe from what he's doing right now. But yeah, let's get into this episode of SmackDown. We started straight out the gate with a Bloodline segment. All the guys came out in they're all black. Now Bronson Reed is with them. He's hanging out wearing his Pippins and his Tsunami shirt. He looks like he fits, man. Like, big Polynesian guy hanging out with them. Go figure, he fits. Standing with them, man, it just works. I was saying last week when they added him, I was like, this just makes sense. Like, for not just his look, but for what his character has been. His character of being like, I'm just trying to make a name for myself any way that I can. And that's really been Solo's bit with this iteration of Bloodline. So it would make sense for him to jump in and kind of be a mercenary for him. But this was a pretty straightforward segment. It was basically just Solo giving the OG Bloodline ultimatum of, hey, you guys don't have a 5th member, so you might as well just surrender. By the end of the night, you got to give me your answer, or basically we're going to beat you down.
It's interesting to me that we get a lot of these interwoven segments, right? WWE does them really well, especially with the Bloodline, right? You get bookends. You started and you ended with the groups that are, like the OTC and the Bloodline. Basically, that's the way it's been for almost 4 years now. But it reminds me so much of when I remember the old school WCW days and watching Nitro and Thunder, was when you saw the Wolfpack and W Black and White just kind of go after each other, right? Like you saw these bookend shows and giving each other ultimatums, and like it brings that back, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Sometimes it gets a little boring just seeing the same thing over and over, and just kind of it just makes the puzzle pieces a little bit weird there. But I enjoyed it. I think they did an incredible job off the bat. Solo has come to be like this. He's come so far from where he first started. I was like, what is happening? And like his promos, everything about him is just to the nth degree now.
Yeah, I got to give Solo a lot of credit because I think a lot of the building blocks for this has been Solo playing his role so well, whether it be building up the anticipation for Roman coming back and getting those "We Want Roman" chants because he was doing such a good job getting heat, and then when Roman came back, he's done such a good job of making the character evolve because at first he was like so serious, like very much trying to do the Roman stick of being stoic and doing the poses and everything like him. But now I feel like he's added his own humor and mannerisms to it, and it's made the character that much better. I find I enjoy him more because I feel like he's more funny when he does like the bits where he's like turning around and posing and sticking his tongue out. I think it's all really funny.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
But yeah, this was straightforward segment. Not much else. There's more Bloodline stuff to get into after that. Let's see, we have some more super chats.
Let's go.
See, we got one. If I can find it. Oh, sorry. It must be a Humper chat. That's why I was confused. Sorry. It's a Humper chat from Van Twin Blade. He says, Grapsy represent. Shout out to Alexis, the clavicle Cardoza.
The clavs, Phil. The clavs, man. This for every Friday night here, we talk about bangs and clav connection with with Kate and her bangs. But obviously, if anyone just got in, this is not Kate with me here today. I know you're very confused.
We've
kind of looks like her a little bit, but
not Kate.
I love how you started the show with that. That's going to be my favorite thing ever. Can you do that every time you come on? Can you please just word for word, because that popped me so hard.
But yeah, Vamp Swinblade says, Grapsy represent. Shout out to Alexis, the clavicle Cardoza. Sunday is my first Glory Pro show since February because car payments are a bitch. But it's my birthday Sunday. I deserve this. Hashtag book Finn better. Yeah, what are they doing with this guy?
Hey, happy birthday.
But yeah, happy birthday. Sounds like that should be a fun one for you.
Yeah.
We got a very generous super chat from Tim McFall. He says, money for not a white woman and clavicles. Cresta's influence continue in WWE with all the shenanigans again and again. Despite that, not a bad show. Good in ring, focus on the ladies, and KO being the biggest face in the Fed.
Word.
Appreciate you, Tim.
Not a white woman.
Yeah. Indeed, not a white woman.
You should just make a shirt, please, just for the show. When you come on Friday nights with me. Oh God, that's great.
I cannot think of anywhere else I would possibly wear that. So be that would be solely an investment for here.
I hope your friends are very well and your family are aware that you do this and you're so great at it, by the way, and that if you were to have merch that says "not a white woman," no one looks at you confused. Yeah,
they'd be so very confused. Speaking of family, I just saw this before I came in. Condolences to Chris Hero. Just lost his mother.
Oh,
sucks to hear that. Yeah, so condolences to him and his family. Let's see, we had the WWE Women's United States Championship. First round, Bianca Belair taking on Blair Davenport and Chelsea Green. When it started, I thought it was pretty clear, like, oh man, Bianca's going to win this. Like, I kind of want Chelsea to move on because that belt would make a lot of sense for Chelsea. But no, that's not what happened here at all. We got a swerve here, actually. I thought the match was solid. I thought, again, when Bianca's in these kind of matches, it just reminds you of just where she was at her peak as women's champion last year. Very, very good here. Still, no surprise. Very good in ring. But Chelsea also very good at the character work. Solid in this match as well. But halfway through this thing, we got on the Titantron, Jade got thrown through the windshield of a car.
Yeah, man.
So
Violence.
yeah, so Bianca had a decision to make. She had to decide whether she wanted to stay in this thing and try to win and advance on to the semifinals or go help her friend. And ultimately, she decided to go backstage to check on Jade. And Chelsea went on to win. Chelsea will move on to the semifinals where she will face Bailey. What did you think of this?
I I thought it was very well done. I think the right person won. We're kind of like that's who the machine's not pushing it, but we are as fans, right? Like we're driving this to
Fans want
hopefully,
Chelsea.
yeah. So we're hoping to manifest this moment, not only for her, who is very well deserving, dude. It's about time they have a title like this that a woman could hold. AEW has a couple, and it's really cool to see those mid titles there for them. So I hope that this is something that they take very seriously in WWE, and I would love for her to be the first person to grab it. Is Jade dead? What I mean, it's just she. I mean, the women are getting some really good segments, by the way. So this was cool to see.
Yeah, I think by far the women's segments and the storylines on SmackDown are much better than Raw. I currently think that Nia is a better champion than Liv. I just think the women's stuff on SmackDown is much better. Like I two ways. I mean, before we get into the whodunit part, again, I think you're right that people do want Chelsea, and that showed during the match because Chelsea was getting quite a few chants during this match.
Yeah,
and there were parts where it looked like she was getting ready to lose, and the crowd was kind of starting to boo. Like Bianca was getting cheers, but you can tell that there was a good amount of that crowd that wanted to see Chelsea advance. So I do think that this was the right move. Good for Chelsea. I think it's great that, man, she is a hustler. I say it over and over again. She will find a way to get on TV. She'll find a way to get something over, and this has worked for her. It's worked incredibly well. The whodunit aspect of this is interesting because it seems like they are doing something very interesting with Bailey because the stuff on Raw when Rhea came out, I was like, oh, this is the 5 members. I thought sure Bailey was going to end up on this team because she has a connection with the other members. She had a connection with EO because she was a member, of course, leader of Damage Control, but also she has the tension with Bianca. So I thought that was going to lead to a can they coexist thing going into War Games. But now that Jade is seemingly taken out of picture, it seems like Bailey could end up in this match now.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's going to make Bailey number one suspect, especially if you're Bianca, who already doesn't trust her.
Yeah. Can we? I mean, man, that's true. Can we see Bailey? You think that we would see Bailey flip back to being a heel?
I don't, because I don't think that Bailey did this. I just think that there's meant to just give you just a little bit of pause
of those crumbs.
It's meant to build more tension between Bailey and Bianca. But I don't think that Bailey did this. I would assume. I kind of think that Jade faked this. I kind of think this.
Wow, I honestly, when I first saw it, I thought to myself, what if there's, as of late, there's been a little bit, like sometimes you see, oh God, it's like the minor little sprinkles between Jade and Bianca. Like maybe there could be a little bit of like bad blood maybe between them because for whatever reason. That's just me playing it in my head, I guess. But it could. I don't know, man. She could fake it. I never even thought about that.
I kind of have the feeling that this is Jade. Jade just works better as a heel. I mean, I've been enjoying her at WWE, but she just works better as a heel. And I don't know if you guys remember, recently she tweeted, I miss stepping on people. I miss being that bitch. And I think people misread that to say she misses AEW. I don't think that's what she meant. I think she meant I miss being a heel.
A heel,
And I think that that's where this is going. I've always thought that the end game to them as a team is a one-on-one match. But if we're going to do the one-on-one match, Jade is going to be the heel in that storyline. And she has all the reasons to not want to be in this team anymore if you really look at it, because um, Bianca's been the one as a singles wrestler that's gone on like this losing streak this year. Jade's been winning her matches. Bianca had problems with Nia Jax. Jade didn't.
Yeah.
Jade single-handedly threw Nia out of the Royal Rumble and eliminated her. She didn't lose her Queen of the Ring match to Nia. She got disqualified. She's
Yeah.
been still winning this year on her own. So she's probably looking around like, yo, I don't need her. She needs me.
Yeah. Now that I look at it, yeah, there's so many tangibles. I mean, they could throw a curveball. I mean, I read in the chat, we saw a promo of Charlotte as well, not online
Yeah.
the other day. But it wouldn't make sense because they're a tag team. But I don't know. We'll see.
Um, yeah, the only hiccup with it is I don't know what this means because they announced now that there's a mystery uh,
Opponent.
competitor for
Yeah.
the U.S. title tournament match next week. So that part of it does add a hiccup to my theory that it's Jade, because why would she do that and cost herself a shot at that title? There's something about it that's kind of fishy, because I think if it was just Nia that did it, that would be kind of too easy, or they would have given us the hints that it was Nia. I don't think it was Nia. I think
Yeah.
either this was Jade or maybe it was Piper and Chelsea. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, send us your super chats. Let us know what your theories were. We got a handful of them. Get those in front of me. Okay. From Sweet and Sassy Creations, he says it was Lash or it could have been Charlotte. Charlotte makes a lot of sense. Charlotte
Yeah.
just recently teased her return as well. But I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of feel like Charlotte makes sense to come back to SmackDown, but I don't know why she would immediately come after Jade.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm confused about that, man. But this is a good confused, right? Because it has us talking. It doesn't have us kind of like automatically going into the bucket and picking someone and just like, oh, this is so predictable. No, like it's interesting. It's interesting, especially with we have not seen Jade in any vulnerable position where she seems like she's out of it or someone could jump her or whatever. We look at her,
Yeah.
she's the one that's always, behind, the beatings. So
Yeah. Charlotte would be a good shot. I just don't know why she would have a problem with Jade. But if it was her, I'm sure she would tell us as soon as she gets back. See from Jay Stone, he says they're gonna replace Jade with Charlotte, aren't they? I I think there's a good chance that Charlotte could end up taking her spot in the U.S. title tournament. But I think in a War Games match, it's going to be Bayley.
Wow, dude. I can see that happening.
Just based on something else we saw later in the night, and all of the War Games members were in there, including Bayley, who's not in the match.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, excited to see Charlotte, honestly, man. I know that Charlotte gets a lot of flack for always being in the title picture and some of the other reasons people have gotten annoyed with Charlotte, but Charlotte's been away enough that I actually miss Charlotte on TV.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's been over a year now? Has it been a year? I think so. And it's crazy to think that she's been out for this long, and now that she is going to come back, where and what position do we see her in?
Yeah.
She's always been, and I joke around with Kate, she's always been kind of propelled towards the title picture. Oh, always. In no matter like what situation she's been in, she's always been near that title. So are we going to see her maybe in a new position to try for the US title? I mean, it's,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the U.S. title fits Charlotte. It would be a little bit underwhelming if they announce a new title and then Charlotte just comes back and wins it.
Oh, I
But
don't think she'll win it, but yeah, I mean, maybe. God, I don't know, dude, but yeah, if they did that, that place will go nuclear.
yeah, definitely. I think people would absolutely hate that. I think to me, my pick would be Naomi. I think Naomi has been
Mm,
back long enough from TNA. I've been wanting her to win some gold. Doesn't seem like they're going to put the main title on her.
right.
But her as the first U.S. champion, I think that could be cool.
Yeah, I spoke about that as well with Kate, how she's been very underutilized. She hasn't really like she's just been there. Her and Bailey both have just kind of been there, like
Yeah.
they haven't really. So yeah.
Let's see. We got one from Will Chisholm. He says, I think the women's story will be Bailey takes Jade's place in the War Games match, and Bianca hates her, but Bailey and Io still have beef. Poor Naomi is in the middle. Yeah.
Freak. Yeah. That puts them in a very, very bad position to lose the match.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Naomi is still in the J. Cole spot where it feels like everybody around him is beefing, and he's just like, guys, I just want you all to get along.
Yeah. Where
Unfortunately.
do it's crazy because if the in the men's war games, if you do have the faces go over, right? If you consider Roman a face, he's kind of that gray area.
Hmm.
Then the women's match doesn't have to be the faces who win either there.
Yeah,
Like you would have to flip one or the other, and I think the women's one is the one that you would see probably the heels go over in.
yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but the baby faces have won 2 years in a row for the women, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, standing tall in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with the heels winning it this time. Let's see, we got some more super chats. Let's see, Hassan says Jade was doing a Yamcha pose. Yeah, she was definitely. Yeah,
That's funny.
I was not expecting it to cut back to that, but yeah, just the way she was laid out was very shocking.
Yeah.
Jay Stone kind of has the same idea that I had. He says, "Hot take: Jay stays her on attack. The turn is coming."
Wow.
I
Damn, you guys opened up that eye, man, because I was not thinking that. That's
um,
good though.
I think even if she didn't stage it, the turn is coming. It's inevitable. She's just better as a heel, man. It's
Oh,
coming.
100%. Her attitude is built for that.
Yeah. See, we got one from Bad Robot. 2342. He says, "Hello, my favorite post show.
Hey,
Always
hey,
nice when
hey.
Phil's in. So happy for Chelsea. She's amazing." And we got a new meme with Jade. So who's replacing her? Charlotte, Becky, Kayho's partner, Ricky.
Oh
um,
my gosh.
yeah. Like I said, I think Charlotte's probably going to replace her in the tournament because Bailey, of course, is already in the tournament. But I think Bailey is going to replace her in the War Games match.
Yeah. I'm seeing that now. Um, as you kind of like laid it out, it makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. For those that are wondering, of course, Bailey is already advanced, so she's already in the semifinals. She's going to face Chelsea, and then I believe we have. Let me just double check who else is left. My Googles. Okay, so yeah, as of next week, it is now TBA to face Michin and Piper Nivens, and then also Naomi will face Tiffany Stratton and Elektra Lopez.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for it to be Charlotte, and I think that semifinals being potentially Charlotte versus Naomi, or even Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton sounds awesome.
Yeah. Now that I'm seeing it, yeah.
And I personally like, cause I think it should be Naomi. Charlotte and Naomi have really good TV matches, and so I think that could be a banger. That could be one of those ones where if Naomi finally gets that win and moves on to the finals, I think that would be dope.
It'd be good, nice to see Naomi finally like getting put. There's a lot of women deserving. It's that they
Yeah,
have a good problem in their hands right now with that.
yeah, I think they've got options. I wouldn't mind Chelsea winning it. I also wouldn't mind Michin winning it. I think they've got multiple options.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Let's see, got some more super chats. Got another one from Will Chisholm. He says, Bobby Lashley said Bianca don't want to go heel. Do do hey Jade will be Jill? What are we going? I think you mean she's gonna be the heel.
Jade. Oh
But
yes, yeah, yeah.
I just think with Bianca, it's one of those things with the company. Even if it's not her choice, um, there's so much money in her as a baby face. I just don't see them doing it. She's such a popular baby face. She's had a reality TV show and all this stuff. I don't see them turning her heel. I think that could be fun, but I don't see the company doing it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't think so either.
So we got another one from Bad Robot. All right, took me a second to get on the screen. Got another one from Robot 2342. He said Alba and Isla took out Jade. They were with Blair for 5 minutes before Remember, or Bianca making less sense. Higher power style. Higher power style. Yeah. I didn't think about Alba and Isla because we haven't seen them much, and
I know.
that does kind of make sense because I can see them thinking by taking Jade out that would help Blair get the advantage in a match and potentially win. Now, of course, that blew up in their face because Blair just lost anyway.
Yeah.
But I could see that as an option as well.
Yeah, that's true too.
We got a lot of super chats on this topic. I believe that is all of them.
We appreciate you all, man, for sending us so much love and
Yeah.
super chats and the humper chats and just being here with us tonight. A week before, was it before the night before AEW Full Gear, the week before Survivor Series. Crazy. It's almost been a year since CM Punk came back, and you know, Thanksgiving next week. Like, some good times, man. This is the perfect time of the year for me.
Yeah. Next up, we got the LA Knight and Escobar match. But before that, we got a brief Nakamura segment. Nakamura is doing like almost like this horror gimmick now where he's got like a little bit of eye makeup. I think that they had nailed his presentation earlier on with the subtitles and everything. So I'm glad they're still doing that. And he's cutting those like very creepy promos. I thought that this was cool. I thought the way that he was talking to LA Knight like a horror movie villain was great. I hope that they do something cool with Nakamura. I think he's one of those guys where I don't care what you use him in. Fans are going to want to see this guy on TV. He just has something to him that people just like to see this guy. And man, he just works as a heel. So I think they've got something here. I think this makes sense as a feud for the U.S. title. Of course, Nakamura has history with the U.S. title. Curious to see where this goes. What do you think of it?
Yeah, dude. You know, it's been a while since we actually seen Nakamura in a monumental spot, right? It's something that kind of gives us hope and love for this guy. You know, like the last thing I remember him being was with Rick Boogs. Like, that's really far back and not meaningful in any sense. So like you mentioned, the horror gimmick, which is, by the way, Japanese horror is incredible. You know, Asian horror in general is just freaking awesome. So just to kind of see him bring himself back, reignite that fire with this new character, for me, it works in so many ways. So I can't wait to see what they're going to be. Even if he's not a contender realistically for any title, I think that he's not a person who needs it, especially now so far later on in his career. You know, he could definitely be there to kind of make some incredible matches, though.
Yeah. LA Knight still very, very popular. He came out.
Oh my God, yeah.
The chants are still a big thing. And this was a solid match. Every time Legado comes out, I'm just like, just do something more with this faction. They're so cool. All these guys are so talented. I just want to see them doing more. But this was a solid match. It was about what you expected because when we got the vignette ahead of time, you kind of knew that Santos was going to lose, and we knew that it was going to end up being some kind of distraction. And that's basically what we got here.
It's very, very predictable when they do those back-to-back segments like this. And I think, unfortunately, AEW does it too, where they kind of do these back-to-back promos, and you're like, oh, God, when you know what's coming up or what segment they're going to be doing in the ring, it just kind of already shows you like, why couldn't you space it out?
Yeah, but this match was solid. We got I thought the finish of it was great. I thought for a brief second I was like, wait, is Santos gonna win this? Because we got the distraction
Yes.
from Nakamura. But we got a pretty good counter into the blunt force trauma. LA Knight is still your United States champion, and then right afterwards, Nakamura just proceeded to attack LA Knight.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, we got it right. I mean, everything just came in a timeline that we were expecting for it to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fine for what it is. I have been wondering with all the U.S. title stuff, where is Andrade? And I mean, we got to see Melo. Melo's going to be in a match next week, but where's Andrade? What's going on?
I know, yeah. I mean, and I love me. I don't want to like bunch up all the Latin talent against each other. So it's kind of cool that they're kind of giving Santos his shine right now outside of Andrade. I don't know. Maybe we can see something cool like where we bring back the mixed match stuff and we just see Andrade with Charlotte or something. I mean, I know they're a couple and it's kind of ridiculous to do that, but who knows? Like they have a lot of room and a lot of players to play now. So
I actually thought the mixed match challenge was fun. I wouldn't mind them bringing it back. I don't see it going back to Facebook video.
No, I definitely don't. Not anymore. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it like what they're doing with Speed if they just did it like that and made it like a social media special again. I wouldn't mind that.
No, yeah. Even if whatever, like when they bring in all these smaller shows that like these pre-tape shows like Main Event or whatever, like they were putting up on Hulu, they're gonna be putting up little things for Netflix as well, like Speed. Why not do it up?
Yeah. Yeah, could be cool. Let's see. I believe. Make sure that I didn't miss some of our super chats. See, we got looks like Humper Chat from Van Twinblade. He says, when Jade does go heel, if they make her do a "You People" promo, I'm going to flip my shit. Jade should be a heel because she wants to break fools. Yeah, I don't think the "You People" thing. And I'm sorry, that was a super chat. Sorry, but yeah, I don't think she needs to do a "You People" promo. It just doesn't really fit what she's doing. I think it makes more sense for her to come in and just basically be like, "Hey, I signed here as a big deal. Like, there was a big storyline on where I was going to end up, whether I was going to sign with SmackDown. I signed with SmackDown to be me. I signed to be a singles wrestler, and I've done this tag team. We've had our success, but now this is about me. I think y'all forgot like who I am."
Yeah, I agree. It's 100% behind you on that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do the "You People" promo because I think it would be dishonest to act like the fans have not been into her because they have. So you can't make it. Oh, it's "You People's" fault that I turned on Bianca.
She hasn't really like there hasn't been anything to show that she needs to go that route because she's been given like all the opportunity and all the shine in the world. So now if it were if you had a confrontation, if they were to lose the titles or whatever the case may be, like they had a confrontation with each other, Bianca and her, and then the crowd starts getting more behind Bianca, then you can definitely be like, all right, this is what you guys wanted. You wanted us to break up and blah blah blah. Like, but just off the cuff for her to just be like angry at us for no reason. Yeah. Plus, WWE's been a lot more smarter as of late, like a lot smarter when it comes to the way that they're writing the characters' dialogue and the way that they're presenting themselves on screen.
Yeah. Luis is saying Jay should tell Michael Cole to cut the shit and feeling would be restored. Listen, I'm just waiting for her to tell somebody to cut the shit. Like, that's one of the main reasons I'm like, yeah, just get back to the bits, get back to her turning heel. Come on.
Yeah.
Just get back to it.
Yeah. I wonder if once they get to Netflix, I mean, I know they have a little bit more freedom there, but they're still a publicly traded company, so there's bylaws and things that the people who take your money there on the top have to say about certain things. This is why they mute the holy shit chants on USA Network.
It doesn't sound good every time they do it.
Yeah.
See from Jason C. McLean, he says, please don't forget that Liv and Raquel were also there. Yeah, of course, that could have been an option that Liv and Raquel injured Jade just like they tried to injure Rhea a few weeks ago on NXT. So that's an option as well.
Yeah.
See from Meet Normus, he says, "Sup partners, please pray for Top Dollar. He went from WWE to TNA to doing Wizard post shows. I'm out in the streets. How was wrestling tonight? It was a fun night of wrestling. Not exactly a winning team in the Wizards, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Keep your prayers up for Top Dollar." Let's see, we got some more super chats. Bear with me. I got one from Just Ricardo, who is a member. He's been a member for 45 months. He says, "Hello, I'm at work. Hope SmackDown was fun. See y'all afterwards." Hey, judging by your thumbnail, you're gonna have fun with this episode, at least this ending of SmackDown when you do watch it, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah, Ricardo, thank you for the love, man. Always showing us love here on Friday nights. So we appreciate you.
Yeah. See from Junk Punch Hero, he says, "I'd have Naomi win the U.S. title. What would be the point? It's rehashing same old things with her. It's a chance to launch someone new." Yeah, but I don't think that Naomi hasn't had a really good title run. I don't think even the run that she had as SmackDown Women's Champion, that was years ago. I do agree that you could do something different. That's why Chelsea, I wouldn't be mad at. I wouldn't be mad at going with Michin, who hasn't won championship gold yet. But it just kind of feels like since Naomi came back from TNA and she was a champion there, it's just been kind of waiting to see them push her in a big way, and it just hasn't happened yet. So, that's just my personal thoughts on it. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, I agree.
Appreciate you guys for all the super chats, humper chats. We got one more from Will Chisholm. He says, Shinsuke saw Snoop Dogg's movie Bones and said, "I want to dress like that." LOL. Classic hood movie, Bones. If you have not seen that, I don't want to say I would recommend it, but it's definitely one of those movies that I've seen more than once because it's constantly on TV.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, with very beautiful, always timeless Pam Grier in it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we got more SmackDown to get into. But before I do that, I'm going to hit you guys with a word from our sponsor.
How many times have you seen it? A big name wrestler gets hacked. They're trying to sell PlayStations or something on their Twitter. They need that NordVPN.com/Fightful. Not just for that, but all their sensitive files, their storyline information, their pitches, their private documents. You want NordVPN.com/Fightful to protect you when you're on the road or when you're at home. When you're at home, you can put it on your router. It protects everything. You can put it on your phone, laptop, desktop, PC. But on the road, whether you're at the hotel connecting to that Wi-Fi, the airport connecting to that Wi-Fi, the event center even, you want to have some protection for your devices, and NordVPN.com/Fightful does that. In addition, you shield your data from snoops and criminals, protect yourself on that public Wi-Fi, secure every device you own, and add extra layers of security to your digital life, in addition to all the great features we tell you about all the time. They also have 24/7 support if you need that help. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
NordVPN.com/Fightful is the place to go for that alternative. I don't know if people can still use it now because time is ticking on the network. I know some people are still using it to use WWE Network, but WWE Network is officially going away on January 1st, which just sounds crazy to me. Of course, in the States, it's been going for a long time, but the fact that people are getting the final emails telling them that network is going away is just
10 years.
Wild. End of an era.
10 long years. That fun little $9.99 jingle still plays rent free in my head.
Yeah, I miss the network, man. I kind of wish the network would come back.
It was such a great thing to have. But when you license out your stuff, you make a lot more money. If you anyone who's in corporations, or if you own a business, when you start licensing out your stuff, that's when the real money starts coming in.
Yeah, that's always the goal.
Yeah.
We've got the big thing that was promoted for this show coming into it. Kevin Owens finally getting to talk to Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens is tremendous, man. I just have to just say that because this guy is just, I don't care what you give him to do. He's a great baby face. He's a great heel. I just love Kevin Owens. That promo he cut in his car on his phone last week was so funny to me, man. And the whole time I was like, hey, he has a point. Like, why is he wrong here? He has a point.
Spatially aware of everything that's happening around him at all times. He is the one and only, I think, professional wrestler in that company that pieces things together knowing that he knows other things are happening. The bubble's not just this thing between him and the other person. No, like he could piece things from what happened in the past to what's happening now to getting pissed off at this person and so on and so on. He's just, and they let him do it, which is great.
Yeah, he's such a great character. He's such a great character because you believe him, and like you said, he's so aware of everything that's going on, and he is a lot of times speaking from the audience point of view. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would you be mad at me for doing what my job is? My job is to hurt people. My job is to be a wrestler. But yeah, we got Cody Rhodes coming out. Cody Rhodes, of course, doing a Cody Rhodes entrance. Massive pop for him as always. Still very over as champion. Still feels like top guy. Came out in a very, very patriotic tracksuit. And this is what you thought it would be. He came out and initially was saying that Kevin Owens is not here, but I know he's here, so get out here. Kevin Owens comes out through the crowd, and they start going back and forth. And I thought that starting from where this storyline started with Cody giving him a title match, and he was reluctant to take it. And his reluctance always felt like, I don't want to have to go to that place that I know I'll have to go to win a title, because we're friends. And now you see how far this is going, and he's taking it too far. This is exactly what Kevin Owens was trying to warn everybody was going to happen. Like, you made me do this. You asked me to do this, and this is where I am. And so I thought some of the best lines of it was Kevin Owens going just basically like, this isn't my fault. This is your fault.
Sure.
Roman tried to take everything away from me, tried to take my career from me, and I was there for you. I supported you every step of the way. I tried to help you win at WrestleMania 39. When you did beat him and finish your story at WrestleMania 40, I was there because I was legitimately happy for you. And then what do? You go and partner up with this guy that tried to take everything away from me? No, this is your fault that I took Randy Orton out because you made me do this. And, yeah, it was like, that's a point. But when it got back to Cody, I was like, wait, Cody's also not wrong.
Yeah. They went this little exchange between them. In the beginning, I was like, God, this is going a little long. Like, there's just parts that are being rehashed that we understand, that we already know. There's a lot of things that Cody was kind of trying to harp on, which kind of have already been said. I think that Kevin Owens, his actions, the way he presented himself, gave you so much without him having to even say anything on the mic.
Yes.
Just him giving you the subtle, like, I'll pick when we're fighting. Like, that's it. That's what you need to say. Like, you can tell, like, Cody was, to me, what it came off as was Cody was itching for a fight. Cody wants to fight him. Cody just needs this big fight. And, unfortunately for me, every time Cody's in the ring, I always have the here we go moment where it's just like, what are you going to say? Like, how big is this? Are you going to
what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Are you going to cry? Are you going to talk about your dad? Like, Give me something different, It was different, but it was still in the same cadence of every other promo that he's had. But Kevin Owens knocked it out of the ballpark. You mentioned it earlier. Where are they going to fight?
Yeah,
it's Survivor Series, main event. We have all these great places. They might do it. They might go the distance and just fight every single show.
Yeah, I think it should be a Survivor Series. I know that they've promoted it for Saturday Night Main Event. I don't know if it's official yet. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't think that it's official yet. But yeah, I think Cody, of course, is going to be, if you like Cody's melodrama and his overdramatic promos, this will be for you. But if you don't like that stuff, I can see you definitely being like, like Alex said, all right, here we go.
Phil, I grew up watching novelas as a kid with my mother and my grandmother and my father, like my grandpa's, that's, soap operas are big. I'm Puerto Rican. It's big in the Latin culture, right? Hell, it's big in almost any culture, but you and I know, like, your grandma probably watched something, your mom probably watched something, whatever. I know my mom definitely watched stuff. My dad watched it too. And as a kid, I got sucked into it and I watched it too. When I'm watching Cody out there, Cody could very well just be speaking Spanish because it could be a giant novela scene for him, dude.
But yeah, I thought Cody's promo was actually very good because he actually quickly he poked a lot of holes in what Kevin Owens was saying, because he was saying, well, wait a minute. It's not my fault that you came out here and gave him a pile driver. You chose to do that. And you chose to do that to somebody that is your friend. He's your friend, and you did that to him. He didn't deserve that. And it's like, yeah, he's right. What is Cody possibly betraying you have to do with you pile driving Randy Orton? You didn't have to do that. And he also brought up, like, no, you are obsessed with being a top guy in this company, and you don't even think about the fact that you are synonymous with this company, and you have been synonymous with this company for the past decade or so. You're a Grand Slam champion. You don't talk about any of those things. And again, he's right. This guy has main evented WrestleMania 2 years in a row. He got to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. He got to win the tag titles in the main event with his best friend and put over PWG. Not just anybody gets to do that. And so I was like, hey, boy, he does kind of have a point. And when he got into the self-sabotage part, I was like, I didn't want to accept it because I love Kevin Owens. But I was like, he has a point, because you had the chance to just beat Cody and you hesitated, and you took this chance to pile drive a guy outside of a ring when you could have, if you were about that life and you really want that kind of smoke, you could have just did that to Cody in the match and you would be champion right now.
Hey, it's fun. I prefer your way, your take on it. If Cody could have so eloquently put it as you just did just now, it would have been a lot better for me, because, he just goes into the drama of it a lot. He's like,
of course,
you did the most dangerous move in professional wrestling that has been banned for the last 37 and a half years on your friend, Randy Orton, my friend, Randy Orton. But yeah, hey, big shout out to Danny in the chat. If you guys are not following her, make sure you go follow her on all her social networks. She's awesome. She does some great stuff as well. I just went crazy there, but I had to give her a shout out.
To your point, at one point, it cut back to Cody and his jacket was off and he's got the sleeveless shirt on. And then it cut back and his shirt was ripped. I was like, wait, when did his shirt get ripped?
That's what I'm saying. Like, although he just went nuts, dude. I don't mind it. I love it. I love the drama and defects of pro wrestling, man. It's my stuff. But just the fact that you mentioned it, one moment he had jacket comes off, then he's half naked in the ring. Like, wait, what's happening right now? Is this man just hulking up in the middle of the ring? And by Hulk, I mean like the Incredible Hulk, my friends.
Yeah. But yeah, I really love this segment as somebody that's a fan of both of these guys, and I've been a big fan of this storyline. I actually think that this is probably the best storyline of Cody's title reign so far, because I think the defenses have been good. He's had good matches, but he has missed that one big rivalry that's really cemented his time as champion. And I'm starting to think that the Kevin Owens rivalry is really it. Like, I could see this going 3 matches. I think that even
Yes.
if he wins this next match, it's gonna keep going after that. I could see this going all the way up to Royal Rumble, possibly.
Oh man. I mean, the thing is that, December, they're not doing anything, right? Besides the special, there's
Yeah.
really nothing going on in December. It's a lot of downtime, no pay-per-view, and then you come back into the Netflix era, and you start, like you mentioned, this year Rumble's later, correct?
It's February 1st. It's not
February
January.
1st. It's not January.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have February, and then you have they pushed Mania further too, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit further in April. It's still April, but I believe
still
it's like
April, yeah.
the 16th and the 17th.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So they have time to play here and different things that they can do.
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying this. I think that these two guys have good chemistry together. I think what they're doing with Kevin is great. I initially didn't think they were going to actually pull the trigger and turn him heel. I thought that they were going to keep teasing it, but I think that this has worked out very well for Kevin Owens. I'm glad that he's not pulled into any of the Bloodline stuff and he actually has his own thing going. And I also think the same thing of Cody. I'm glad that he has a feud going that has nothing to do with Bloodline, and it's just something that's unique to him, and not just his time with the company, but kind of all of his history outside of the company, because all of his big opponents in some way have some kind of link. Like, because that's kind of the link between him and Kevin Owens of, hey, we have mutual friends and
Sure.
all of this like inside baseball stuff. But I think they've done a great job of building a feud that's not just that, not just built on the mutual friends they have and them wanting to have this match eventually. I'm really here for this. Again, I think that they're kind of doing this as disservice if it's not on the Survivor Series card.
Yeah, even if you have an all-out brawl at Survivor Series that has to be separated, or whatever the case may be, where you have a freak, I mean, where they can fight and he attempts a pile driver again or something, right? So like, make it so that you could extend it all the way till main event, where you can have something there happen as well, just because it was broken up and it was a no decision for whatever reason. I mean, you could even have Randy come back at Survivor Series,
Yeah.
and throw a wrench into it, and then go to main event and have a 3-way, right? Because it's a huge event. Like you're doing this big event here in New York, so you might as well just like take advantage, right? You could throw Randy in there anytime you want. He's just chilling at home.
Yeah. Very curious when Randy's going to come back. I do think we're eventually going to get a Cody and Randy feud as well. I'm not as sure as when we're going to get it now, but I do think that's going to happen at some point. We got a super chat from Will Chisholm. He says, "Are we surprised Cody loves drama? Look how Dustin came into WWF." Of course. Of course. And I think that's a big part of the way he carries himself, the way he cuts his promos, even the way he holds his belt. It's all very much like old school wrestling, Dusty Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I believe that is all of our super chats on this segment. They also announced that Cody will be facing Melo next week. I guess he confronting him in a backstage segment. I missed this part. I must have been away from the TV. Did you see this part?
Which one was it again? Sorry.
Carmelo confronted Cody at some point backstage. So,
I missed
this.
Carmelo just starts jaw jacking at Cody, and Cody's like, "Hey, they start going at it, and Nick Aldis kind of gets in between, and he goes, maybe it's time you reevaluate or evaluate your first round pick over here." Like nasty, dude, like a nasty tone towards Melo. Melo was like, maybe you should try to evaluate me. Like, mother effer, like I was like, okay, so very, very good setting backstage to set up, whatever they set up with him. I mean, even if they were to say put him in a title match, which would be ridiculous, but I think that little interaction there alone could lead to Melo throwing around some things that can mess up a match for Cody because of just that tiny 15 seconds they had backstage against each other.
Yeah, they already, I believe, announced that that's going to be the match for the go home show next week. Cody versus Melo. Um, looks very predictable, but could be Melo attempting to play spoiler a little bit.
Yeah.
Hassan in our chat pointed out that yeah, Giovanni was backstage. I
Huh?
don't know what they're doing with Giovanni Vinci at this point. They did all of those vignettes for him, and I don't know.
With the Bugatti or whatever that was, and just now he's just chilling.
Yeah, he was doing like his Pitbull shtick, and I was like, "Yo, Pitbull's coming to SmackDown," and apparently, he's not coming to SmackDown because he's just backstage.
For real.
Yeah, I was ready to get into it. I was like, "Yo, Dale,
It's your boy.
it's your boy, Mr. 305."
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got up next. We got the tag match between Bailey. What did I just do there?
You just wanted to.
I just want to
Actually, dude,
make a
that
tag
works.
name. I guess.
That really works. You should just tweet at them and say, "This is your new name, by the way."
Yeah.
Naomi, I love
Bailey and Naomi teamed up to face Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae in a tag match. This was good. It kind of felt like it was a space filler, but again, I think the differences in the way that they pace the stuff on SmackDown and the way they use the women is just so much better, because even though this felt like kind of like a filler match to advance the storyline, it's integral to what they're doing with the War Games match. So I didn't mind it.
Yeah, no, I seeing when you put these women like this in the ring, Bailey and Naomi, like, I know they're playing the whole best friend thing, but there's so much that can happen there. I'm always like waiting for that weird backstab, you know what I'm saying, in every single like friendship. I don't know, it's just pro wrestling has trained me that way, man.
Yeah, they've done this a few times where Bailey and Naomi have teamed up as a tag team, and I think that they've done it enough that it's not a coincidence. I do think that eventually Bailey and Naomi are going to challenge for the tag titles. I think that that's where this is going. I could be wrong, but I do think that there's something to Naomi consistently being like, no, Bailey's my friend. Like, I know how you feel about it. You've told me that over and over, but Bailey's my friend. And so they've been doing this best friend thing, and I do think it's genuine. I wonder what is the end game with Bianca, because I don't see Bianca turning heel, but you've got to pay this off in some way between her and Bailey. And I'm sure that's going to play into the War Games match, but from then on, I do think there's a good chance that not only that Naomi and Bailey team up to face them for the tag titles, I could see them beating them.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I will. I mean, so for me, I think that's where like maybe the dissension begins between the tag champs begins, right? Because that would be cool. I want to see them go after each other so bad, dude. If it's Jade who turns her back on her or whatever the case may be, like,
Yeah,
I'm ready for it.
yeah, but this was a solid tag match. It of course ended in DQ because Nia came out. Nia again, is just so great. Nia playing up to the crowd after she interfered in the match, and she's just like, "What? You guys are mad? You guys were enjoying that match?" I loved it. But yeah, this was solid for what it was, really, to advance the women's stuff for the War Games match, because then all of the members from each team eventually started coming out. Liv and Raquel came out. The rest of the War Games team came out. Eventually, Rhea comes out as well. And it ended up being Rhea helped to run all the heels away with the kendo stick. And 3 of the members from the babyface team and Bailey were standing out there. And the only person in the ring that wasn't standing tall was Bianca, because, of course, Bianca is away with Jade. And that's what further makes me believe that because the rest of the members seem to get along fine with Bailey, they're going to want Bailey to take Jade's place, but Bianca is going to be against that.
Yeah.
No, I thought I froze. I was confused.
Oh no, I thought I was
I was just sitting there. I was like, wait, what's happening?
We're both that damn good because I was like sitting here. Oh, is he gonna go to the next segment? Did we freeze? What happened?
Yeah, but no, this was good. It advanced everything. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the women's bloodline, with the women's war game stuff. I did feel vindicated because I was very confused. Like, wait, is Bailey not going to be in this War Games match? So then when this all happened, I was like, okay, so I'm not just making this up all in my head, that it seems like Bailey is very much attached to this stuff. But yeah, dramatic pause, guys. We both were like, who's going to make the first move?
We
Big
both
standoff.
took a beat there. Yeah, we're just like, wait a second. I honestly, I was like, I thought you were going to move on to say, and I hate like talking over you. Like, that's my pet peeve. Like,
No, you're good. You're good.
I would hate. I hate that. So I was just like, oh, okay. And then I was like, wait a second. I'll just say something. But yeah, I hope that the women's War Games match kind of like is low key, like a show stealer. Because I hope something like I mentioned before. Maybe this is where we start seeing some bad stuff happen between Bianca and Jade. I don't know. Like in Survivor Series, to me, it seems like where we could see just about anything happen. You know what I'm saying? I believe the women are for me are like in WWE have been so they haven't had the chance to glow and be more than what they are, and as of late they've really been showing off, man. So I hope that they put them in the forefront, because come on, man, like we've seen the bloodline now in every single like Survivor Series, so it's just like, I kind of want to see something a little bit different.
And I think the women have delivered both 2 years in a row with the War Games match. So I do think that they're going to deliver again. I think it's very telling that they made sure to put Io in it. Io has been in every War Games match.
Yes.
She's always exceptional. Rhea's another one that has been in multiple War Games match. Bianca as well. So I think they're definitely putting a lot of their mainstays in it. So I could see this match delivering. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes.
I'm on violence. Sorry.
Jason C. McLean points out again that Io and Bailey also have issues, but yes, as you can see, the way they positioned everybody in the ring, Io was already all the way on the other side of the standoff, so she wasn't standing near Bailey. But I do find it very funny that the reason Bianca doesn't like Bailey is because of damage control and all of the stuff that damage control did to her, but she has no problem with Io. She just like Bailey. She's like, no, I'm fine with teaming with Io. Io's cool with me. Bailey though, nah, get Bailey out of here.
It's gonna be fun to see. God, it's just so cool that they've when they put these matches together like this, you have a lot of bad blood between people and rightfully so. Like you're coming together for a cause, right? Like the original Survivor Series, right? We saw teams fight put together that had some type of fight within each other, or one person didn't like the other, but they still came together for the good of versus evil fight, like they used to do back in the day in the old Survivor Series format.
Yeah. So that's very much in par for the course for WWE and this event. Survivor Series is about bringing 5 people together and seeing can they all get along. And I mean, that played into War Games last year with Charlotte and Becky. So
glad it's not for brand supremacy anymore.
Yeah, I definitely think that moving it more to a story-driven pay-per-view and doing the War Games matches was the move, because
it's always and I told Kate this. Survivor Series was always my favorite pay-per-view of the year. Like towards the end, just between that one and Royal Rumble, just because it's the perfect time. It was Thanksgiving time, Christmas is around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's always going to be synonymous with like the holiday season, and it was always cool to see these factions face each other, always like these 5-on-5. So I also like the fact that they took the whole War Games from WCW and put it into Survivor Series, because War Games was a match that normally came around this time during the kind of to counter the programming of WWE back in the day. when it came to the fall programming after Halloween Havoc. So it's cool that this is all now like all one giant match that they put together.
Yeah. Also, just got a match announcement for 0 Hour. Apparently, Commander will be taking on Dante Martin, Beast Mortos, and Buddy Matthews. Boy, that sounds like a banger.
That sounds like there's going to be a lot of high flying, and because Beast Mortals can move.
Yes.
My man is a big, but he can fly.
Yeah. We've got 2 more matches to get into. But before I do that, I'm going to hit you with another word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, I'm here to tell you about betonline.ag, the official betting partner of Fightful. It's not just an online platform. They've been trusted for over 25 years. They boast a focus on the player approach and have built their reputation on offering their clients nothing but the best. From cutting-edge technology to enticing promotions and the latest sports betting odds. Whether it be wrestling, MMA, boxing, or football, baseball, basketball, racing, anything you can think of. All major sporting events are covered by betonline.ag. Fast payouts, highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, safe and secure online environments, and their live betting feature allows you to bet on your favorites weekly and easily and in real time. betonline.ag. That's where we're going at Fightful. That's where we suggest you go as well. That's where we get all of our odds at. betonline.ag. Only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly.
BetOnline.ag is the place to go for all your sports betting needs, including pro wrestling. AEW Full Gear is on there. You can get your bets in for that pay-per-view. I believe that's still up. So yeah, BetOnline.ag is the place to go. 2 more matches to get into. We got Montez Ford taking on Tommaso Ciampa, coming out of the stuff from the tag titles match from last week. I was surprised this match was on the card. When the graphic popped up, I was like, wait, okay, I'll take it. I did not know we were getting this match, but cool. And man, if I didn't already think that Montez should be a singles wrestler, because this guy just has it, bro. He comes out, his gear looks fire. The way he moves in the ring, guy has hops out of this world. He's got charisma for days, man. If you're not gonna do anything with Street Profits as a tag team, push this guy as a singles guy, man. It just feels like it's time.
Yeah, it's been a minute where we've seen Montez shine a little bit on his own, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's always talked about how well he could be on his own, and I feel like this would be the case of like a old school The Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, where if these two split up and they say let's give Montez a chance here on his own, unfortunately I think he's the bigger name, right? Where do you see his tag team partner go? And you kind of see that he kind of just disappear, and maybe unfortunately he might just show up and create makeshift tag teams with other people, because Montez is that big of a star where he doesn't need that. Unfortunately for his tag team partner, that just don't see him, God, that would suck. But yeah, I think Montez needs that push.
Yeah, I do kind of worry about what they would do with Dawkins if he's not Montez.
Yeah.
But he's also very good. I actually think he's underrated. But yeah, this match was strong. Montez surprisingly picked up the win here, and Tommaso Ciampa proceeded to lose it afterwards, throw a big tantrum. Gargano had to come back out there and try to play mediator like he did before. But it's not working. People are very much not feeling Ciampa. It feels like we're getting closer and closer to Ciampa making a full heel turn. And I'm just curious, is Gargano playing along? Is this going to lead to a heel DIY, or are we going to go back to potentially Ciampa versus Gargano?
I think because I've actually paid attention to these two since the original NXT days. It feels a little bit old to me having these two kind of just here we go again.
Yeah.
We just came off of that, and we just put you guys back together again.
Yeah.
So it feels like even if they are playing along with each other, it's like, where do we go, with these two?
Yeah, they haven't had a good run as a tag team on the main roster, and I still think that there's more you could do with them as a team. I've had my fill of seeing Ciampa versus Gargano. They ran that into the ground on NXT.
Oh,
I
they
don't
did,
really
dude.
need to see them face off in a feud again. At least not now. I think if you're going to do that, you can push it down the road for a while. But personally, I think you should just turn them both and make them a heel tag team. But
Yeah.
it does kind of feel like all of the signs are there that DIY is going to split up.
Yeah. It's starting to look like it, man, unfortunately, but I just don't want to see them go after each other again.
Yeah, I don't need to see it. But yeah, I love what they've been doing so far with rebuilding the tag division. Of course, Motor City Machine Guns are good champions. You have so many tag teams for them to face. I just get to it, man. You've got Legado del Fantasma hanging around. You've got
I know.
You got Street Profits still. Street Profits have been trying to be taken more seriously. Montez has been cutting fire promos. He's still showing you he's great in ring. BFAB has been impressive. So it just feels like there's so much you can do with that tag division. I'm just ready for them to get to it, though.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I hope that we kind of move on. Trump, I'll just move on, do something. Like, stop beating up your partner every time the crowd is just not behind you. Even with the beatdown and pushing him out the way, the crowd was like, okay. Like, it just didn't feel like there was that much drama behind it.
Yeah, I don't think we're done. I don't think they should be done with DIY, though. I think I would prefer if Gargano just turned heel and they keep them as a tag team. Because at least give us a DIY Motor City Machine Guns match and actually give us a feud there before you move on.
Yep, I agree.
But we're going to get into this main event segment because we have a lot to talk about from there. A lot happened. As we opened the show, Solo gave the OG Bloodline an ultimatum. And throughout the show, we got little bits here and there with OG Bloodline backstage. We got the bit where everybody's sitting around Roman like they used to, and Roman's just kind of like, oh, we don't need that guy. And it was so funny every time somebody did it. I'm just like, Roman, you don't have room to be picky. Everybody hates you. Nobody wants to team with you. So every time they tried to go, hey, how about Rollins? He's just like, I don't want Rollins. Or even when Jay goes, how about Cody? And Jimmy's like, yeah, Cody. And Roman's like, I'm so old, I don't want to work with him. It's like, right. You need a fifth member and nobody wants to work with you. You don't have time to be turning your nose up at people, man. You need help.
I know. It's I'm going to let you finish because I have some stuff to say. It just makes no sense to me, but I'm going to let you finish.
So, yeah, we got the lead up into all of this. Of course, this led to the main event segment. Solo Sikoa and the new Bloodline in the ring called the OG Bloodline out with the ultimatum of, hey, you don't have a fifth member, so you better surrender, which kind of doesn't make sense. But yeah, it is what it is. It's just Solo Sikoa trying to throw his weight around and say, hey, man, you can't even face us. The numbers don't match. You've got 4 members, so you might as well surrender because we're going to beat you guys anyway. And they're going out there, and Roman does not have a plan. He outright says that in the segment beforehand. Hey, I don't have a plan, but it'll work out. And so he gets out there, and he's basically winging it. Now, there are multiple things that I think about this. I think that it's great that they've played up that Roman wasn't a great leader all this time. I don't know if everybody is reading it that way, but he wasn't a great leader. He was really the sum of his parts. He had his right man in Jay, and he had the wise man by his side. He wasn't the guy that came up with plans. He told you that out of his own mouth. That's what you had his advisor and the wise man for. He had his tribe that enriched him. And so all the consequences of losing his allies, and you see him alone, you see just how vulnerable he is without these guys because he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Yes, but also you're very smart when you put people around you that can make good decisions, right? So a great leader also puts people around them to make him look good. True. So when you think about a company owner, someone who's like, whomever it is, even here in Fightful, you get the right pieces and put them in place so that things could flourish, making you look smart because you make those decisions to bring these smart people into the fold. So yes, I believe it. And also, like, they got to look at both sides of the coin. The man knows how to play the game.
Yes. But yeah, we get all the pieces in play. Each member of the Bloodline sides are there, and we're all wondering, like, all right, what's going to happen here, because they don't have a fifth member. And we get, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman is back. Huge pop for Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman came out with a suit, and he had his red shirt under there. He kind of looked like an Albanian restaurant owner for some reason.
Oh my God, you're right.
But yeah, it was great to see Paul back, and the payoff of him getting beat up by the new Bloodline and him reemerging. And I think there's a little bit here of we're supposed to think, oh, well, Paul just showed up in the final hour to help Roman. Did he, though? Because I think there's something to that last week where he tries to call him and that number is disconnected. I don't think that this was totally in favor of Roman at all. I think this was about getting revenge on Solo and the new Bloodline. And so he was like, I don't have Roman's ear anymore, but I do have somebody else's ear. And so he gets down to it and he says, yeah, War Games doesn't make sense if it's 4 versus 5. It needs to be 5 versus 5. And he introduces the fifth member for the Bloodlines team. Cult and personality hits. It is CM Punk. CM Punk is the fifth member of the team. I have mixed thoughts about this, but what do you think?
Here we are a year later in the same pay-per-view, different venue. We saw this guy come back, it's good for business to have the man involved. But listen, all personal feelings aside, I don't like him. I personally don't like him. I don't see the big attraction. I don't see it. I think whatever. There's plenty of other insert wrestlers here that you can put in that position. You 1000%. Okay. Storyline, I don't know what's going on and how this makes sense. People are saying it makes sense. Because you can put him up against Roman or whatever. But it just why? My question is the why. Like why? Like, is this a personal vendetta for the wise man who is, had a long-standing relationship with his former client CM Punk? Is he bringing him into the fold to kind of spice things up? Like, what is happening? Is there more to the story than just, which we'll probably find out anyway? With CM Punk coming in, like, why would he fight? Why would there be any beef with Roman? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they even crossed paths ever. Number one, Roman doesn't even have a title.
Wait, why would Punk have beef with Roman?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a long history there, buddy. How much time you got?
No, I'm just saying in general right now, like, there isn't, because there hasn't been any focus as of late on Punk. Punk has been gone with Drew, right? Like, for like this fighting for bracelets for so long that in storyline within the last year, right? What would be this reasoning? Like, for me right now, the Bloodline stuff is about the now as opposed to what happened in the past, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's bringing the Bloodline storyline to the future. A lot, right? So cool, we're gonna have you. Are we gonna rehash some of the things that has happened with Punk, or are we just, it's just, there's so many why questions, I guess, and usually WWE does such a great job of building up someone who's coming. This is why we all thought it was going to be Seth, because the story was there.
Yes.
Seth hates him, but he's still family. You know what I'm saying? Because they have that lineage with the Shield, right?
Yes.
So when it wasn't him and Paul Heyman came out, I'm like, wait, Paul Heyman doesn't even like Seth. So why would they even talk to each other? And then when CM Punk's music hit, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, but I'm gonna give you the floor because I'm in so many ways that I'm it's all jumbled up for me.
Well, I didn't mind either way because I mean, leading into this, I said on Twitter because I saw a lot of people saying it makes no sense for Rollins to join this team. Now, I won't say that it didn't make any sense. I just think like the rest of this storyline, it just kind of feels rushed because you did this thing with every other member where they're like, I don't want to do nothing with Roman, no way, no how. And then like 6 days later, I love the Bloodline. I'm back with Roman. Like, wait a minute, they hated this guy, and so. I did see people's point in it being rushed with Rollins, but I did think it made sense because the entire reason that Roman started the Bloodline was because of Seth Rollins. His entire thought process about building a faction was, I'm not going to get betrayed like that again. I'm going to go and get the people that I know I can trust most in the world, my family, and I'm going to build it in a way where I stand on top of as the leader, and I ask for unquestioned loyalty. And so it can't possibly go wrong. Of course, it did go wrong because of, his fears of trusting people and his insecurities that played out throughout the last 3 years. But I did think, like, if you're trying to tell this story of his redemption arc, it made sense for all of the members of his War Games team to be guys that he still needs to mend fences with, including Rollins. And so I thought the whole storyline going into this, in order for his redemption arc to work, would be he's finally going to have that moment with Seth where they hash this out and shake hands in the middle of the ring, and he's going to reassure him, no, I'm not trying to beat Solo to get back what I lost. I'm trying to move past this. And watching this and many other things tonight makes me think that Roman Reigns hasn't changed at all. And I think that that's part of the story. And I think that that's part of why I think that's part of what Rollins saw in him. Like, guys, you can't help this guy. He hasn't changed. He's just as selfish as he always has been. And that played out last week. Like, how long was Heyman on TV telling people, like, how bad this new Bloodline is? And he was trying to get people to help him. He was trying to get Roman to come back and trying to call Roman. And he never showed up. But then when he needed help at the last minute and he needed a fifth member, then he called me. No, my number's off now. Yeah. Don't call me. Like, you let me get thrown through a table and you didn't come help me, but now you want to call me? No. And so I think a lot of this stuff with Roman, you can see he's still just as selfish as always. He hasn't quite learned his lesson. And so I think that's part of the story here. And that's why Rollins didn't make the decision to join him. Now, I would have liked it if Rollins joined the team, but I do like that he stuck to his guns here. And it's like, nah, I'm just not going to help you, because it does make me now feel like there's a world where that one-on-one match that Rollins has been teasing for the longest with Roman is a possibility. I don't know when, but I'm starting to feel more and more like that's going to be where this goes. But the CM Punk aspect of it is interesting because they did plant some seeds for it. I won't say that there was no connection. If you remember the SmackDown that took place here in Chicago, where Heyman and Punk had their reunion, that was a segment where Heyman was saying, hey, help me, take me with you. These guys are a problem. I need your help. They're dangerous. And Punk was looking around like, what's going on? And they never went back to that because if you remember, right after that, Drew McIntyre jumped Punk in the parking lot, and we just went back to the Drew and Punk storyline. Right. But that's been something that's been, I guess, in the back pocket of Heyman for a while. And so it's always made sense that they were going to go back to Punk and Heyman. We just didn't know when. We always knew that Punk and Roman were going to end up having a standoff in a ring somewhere. It just was a matter of when. Punk just mentioned it in the Rosenberg interview where he's like, the second we have our stare-off in a ring, it's going to be monumental. And so we all knew this was going to come. It's just a matter of when. But I think, like, the way this storyline is building of, like, I'm seeing more and more that I thought that this was going to be Roman building this team of his friends and family and mending bridges. I don't think that's what this is all. I think this is all this uneasy alliance of all people going, hey, I'm here to take that guy out or help you take down Solo and his bloodline. But I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be what we were. I don't want to get back together and recreate the bloodline after this. After this, whatever you do, that's your problem. And I'm seeing more and more that that's how the other members feel, because after this, I think Jay is going to go back his own way and be a solo guy again. Maybe he'll go back to being with Jimmy and being a tag team, but I don't think this is leading to the OG bloodline staying together. And I definitely don't think Sammy plans to stay with them. When you add Punk to the equation, I think Punk in any situation is the X factor, because you just don't know what he's going to do. And I think that's easily why Paul Heyman called on him, because he's looking at it like, I don't really fuck with either of these guys. Like, This guy left me high and dry, and then this guy threw me through a table. So I don't really mess with any of these guys. I'm with you. I'm with the original guy that yelled to the world, he's a Paul Heyman guy. I'm rocking with you. And I'm not mad at it. I do think it kind of comes out of left field. Like I said, they did plant the seeds for it earlier this year. But I just think we could have done more to get to this point. And I do think there's a world where this is building other things for Roman coming out of this. Because, of course, we know the Cody match is eventually coming. He's going to try and get his rematch with Cody. But I do think also this sets up a potential Rollins-Roman match sometime down the line. And, of course, it's going to set up Punk versus Roman at some point down the line. Because that is the money match. I know you said you don't like him, but as a longtime fan, and this is, I don't know if you remember, the Art of Wrestling podcast dropped during Thanksgiving weekend. That's what makes so much of this stuff so funny. Punk leaving the company and going on Colt's podcast. I'll never forget listening to it during Thanksgiving weekend.
We all did, yeah.
And one of the lines from that is now like in the brains of most internet wrestling fans, make Roman look strong. And the consequences of that line and what it did to Roman's career, what it did for a lot of fans. And so I'm glad that they didn't just have this go, oh, well, once Punk ran in the ring and they all started beating, they did the beat down and they forced the bad guys out of the ring. I was like, okay, are we just not going to acknowledge that? No, we did get the stare down between Punk and Roman. It's very clear that these two guys do not like each other. And Punk is basically telling him, I'm here because he asked me to be here. It's not because he wants to get along with Roman. He's only here because he's siding with Paul Heyman. And Roman, if you can see what he's saying as well, he's saying, he's my wise man. And Punk says, we'll see. A lot of stuff to build off there. I think that we could have gotten here in a better way. I think it could have been executed better. But that reaction to it, that crowd was into it. I think after the cage match, people are very much into what Punk can do with this company. I'm very interested in him doing more than just the Drew feud, because he's done the Drew feud for most of this year. Sure. So getting him involved in something else and getting him involved with Roman of all people, that's huge for him. That's huge for WWE. That sets up a lot for them in 2025. And so there's a lot here. There's a lot you can do with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sit here and wait. I don't know. My personal thoughts have overtaken this little man. So,
it happens. It's wrestling, and
I wish it didn't. I wish it was more like, okay, cool, but it's like, all right, cool. Let's see what they're gonna do, and let's move on. Let's get Roman back to the title picture. I'm ready to. As soon as I saw I heard the music pop, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is great for WWE fans who love him and are gonna freak out for him and whatnot. For me, I'm like, all right, what's next? Let's get over the Survivor Series match, and how are we gonna move Roman back into being the ultimate, champion again and whatnot. And but yeah, I mean, You made a lot of great points. I don't think that far back for him because he separated himself so much from this company.
Yes.
That to me just makes you look lesser of a person when you kind of just like, why did you talk so much crap and come back? But that's personally. But for me, it's just like, all right, cool. So we're gonna dig back into that well, and then move forward. And seeing how we can get these two maybe later on in a match against each other. Who knows? Maybe these two could be the last two at a Royal Rumble. The last two standing in a Royal Rumble ring to head towards, Mania or something. Who knows? But I see where you're coming from. I'll take it. All personal feelings aside, I'm here for it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm happy for those that have been wanting this to happen. And again, we spoke about it before, right? 5-on-5. This is Survivor Series. It doesn't matter what you believe, and if you're friends or not, you're coming together for a cause, and this is the cause. And what a great wrench to throw into the whole thing, then throwing CM Punk and the wise man into all of this.
Yeah. And I said in this that, Roman did not have room to be picky because you're dealing with a roster that you've terrorized for 3 years. All of these people hate you. None of them want a team with you. So it does in some ways make sense that Heyman had to go get a guy that has not been a part of this roster for the past 3 years and hasn't had to deal with the Bloodline and Roman, and just would do him a favor. Even if he doesn't like Roman, the fact that he would just do it as a favor for him, that does make sense. I do think that there was more story stuff for you to do with Rollins, but I'm starting to see more and more that it's probably not the story that I thought that they were going to tell. I do very much think that there's a world coming out of War Games where we see more and more that Roman hasn't really changed. And I said this on Blue Sky, but I think it would be very cool if the baby faces win this match. And as everybody else is like, well, handles that. And Roman just walks into the middle of the ring, puts the Ulafala on, puts his one finger up. And everybody from Solo side sides with Roman now. They all leave Solo because the only reason they were following him is because he had the Ulafala. And I think just the look on Jay's face and everybody else that wanted to trust him again of like, oh, you were just playing us all along. You're still just what we thought you were. I think that would be a very cool ending to Survivor Series. I still think there's more you can do with Roman as a character. I think there's so much more you can do out of this that is interesting. The idea of Roman as a heel or tweener entering the Royal Rumble sounds very cool. I don't know what we're potentially doing with Rock at that time period. There's so many unanswered questions with this, man. That could be a lot of fun, though. Him still being a heel when everybody thinks he's going to turn.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think WWE's ready to minimize any of this storyline with the bloodlines.
I think we're still gonna.
I think we got another 8 years worth of
8 years is crazy.
So, it already feels like 10. So
no, we still got a lot. We still got whatever they're doing with Jacob. I mean, you got to assume Roman versus Jacob is coming at some point. There's still so much. I have a hard time believing that the end goal here is not Roman being babyface. But for me, I do think that him just turn around like, what did you think? This was all about just me getting my power back, which is to Rollins' point of him going like, man.
Yeah, they got to bring everyone back soon.
Yeah, I think Rollins is going to end up being vindicated in all of this because he's going to just be sitting around saying, I told you guys. He's exactly what I told you he is. Like, you can't trust this guy.
Yeah. No, the Bloodline, I think, will go on. I think this storyline will go on until way after I die. I think you have all the Samoan dynasties and all the kids still hanging around. The Rock will be 112 being, part of something. WWE still, like, I think they just have such a long lineage of family that 20 years from now, you're going to hear, oh my God, the Bloodline is back. And we'll be like, you and I will be sitting there going, what the hell is happening right now?
But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Last call, of course, for your super chats and your humper chats from this main event segment. Let us know what you think. I'm going to get into those, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah.
Luis says, to quote K. Dot, Roman is not your savior. Man, Roman made you think about it, but he is not your savior. He's not your savior. See, from Jason C. McLean, he says, Punk effectively bumped Punk from a main event slot and revenge on Reed. That will pay off later. I've seen a lot of people say that Rollins will be mad at Punk for taking his slot, but I don't think that that's going to be the case because I don't think Rollins wanted that slot to begin with. And so I think he's going to be looking at it like, all of these guys that are teaming up that I don't like anyway, it doesn't matter. I think when he looks and he sees him with Paul, it's just gonna further what he already thinks because he already hates Punk anyway. So seeing him with Heyman is just gonna be like, oh, I hate you. Like, so I am very curious though because I feel like all of this is set up a fork in the road. Like, this could potentially end up being Punk Seth because they've teased that for so long. But I do think, again, they've shown how interesting Rollins versus Roman can be. And I do think at some point Rollins versus Roman should be the end goal for this.
Yeah, I mean, Rollins is a pivotal part now.
Yes.
In this chessboard. So, freak, man. What a way to go.
Yeah, I am glad that this means Punk is going to be on the pay-per-view because I was a bit worried once Damian Priest confronted Gunther and they officially made that the World Heavyweight Championship match. I was like, okay, so Punk probably won't be on the pay-per-view. So I am glad he's going to be on the pay-per-view in some way. I did not think this is how we would get there.
Yeah, they did a good job of intertwining all these storylines. They're doing a really good job as of late with being able to go back into the past and dig stuff out of the well.
Yeah. This, very funny because Chicago guy, known Punk fan, and then you tell Alex is just like, this guy. And I'm just like, I might be all right with it.
There's just so many. I don't listen. I'm an old school guy, man. I'm very old school, and I was raised old school. And my late brother is very old school. He taught me very, very, very at a very young age. You know, you talk poop. You know, make sure you back it up, and make sure you never freaking like he did. Like, I don't know. I'm just not the type of person that I'm gonna shit on a company or someone and then crawl back to it and then, lick the boots of everyone there. But so
very much just, understood. Polarizing guy. So
I'm a very, very old school minded person like that. So, but it works for him and it works for the company and it works for all the fans all around. So that's ultimately the only thing that matters.
Yeah. See, from Will Chisholm, he says, the story was when SmackDown was in Chicago, when New Bloodline bullied Paul, he asked Punk for help, and he told Roman not to attack Punk because Punk was special to him. That's right. That's what I was referencing earlier. That was SmackDown earlier this year in Chicago. We got one from 2LT Photo. They say, I just want a Punk heel turn, please. Yeah.
It'd be nice to have him as a heel. I like his promo work a lot. And you have so many avenues for him because it's just it's not babyface heavy right now. Roman's such a in betweener, but
I think there's so much you can do with Punk either way, and I think one of the last times I was here, I was saying you could see how they're setting up all of these wrestlers on Raw. For Punk if he eventually wins the championship because there are so many heel guys for him to work on Raw. But I think the other side of that is you have so many other opponents for him if he turns heel. You've got the Cody match. You've got you've got Cena coming back. You've got Kevin Owens. You've got the Roman match. You've got Rollins. You've got a bunch of options for him if you could just go full heel turn and putting him with Paul. Makes you think that that's where it's going. But that's also where they're doing a great job of making you second guess yourself because one of the hallmarks of somebody doing a babyface turn is usually they drop their manager. And so it makes sense out of this that Roman will no longer need Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman will go side with Punk moving forward.
Yeah.
So I can see it going either way.
Yeah, I agree. And, someone as Cody as well needs a good heel to go after him with the way that Cody likes to eloquently put his promos out there with so much passion. I need someone with as equal passion to go after him, and hopefully he can drop some lines on like, hey, remember when you used a sledgehammer on that throne and you talk crap about this company but you still came back?
Yeah, I thought the Punk and Cody stuff leading in the Royal Rumble was very good. I thought that their segments were good, so more of that I think would be great. And I think that Punk, of course, owes him a receipt because Cody eliminated him from the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Which he couldn't win anyway because he was injured. But
yeah.
I digress. Let's see. We got one more from Will Chisholm. He says, and Kevin Owens will have smoke with Sammy, getting back with Roman, and I bet that will be a Mania 41 match. Yeah, I keep waiting to see Kevin Owens' response to Sammy, because if he's this mad at Cody and he's just like, I hate you,
yeah,
he's got to be even more upset with Sami Zayn. And I think it's telling that they have not had an interaction at all. They've been able to get by because they're on two different rosters, but when they do have that interaction, ooh boy, that's going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be we have a lot of avenues and a lot of ways to go. A lot of stories to tell for the next next year when everything kind of just refreshes a little bit for everyone.
Yeah. I think this is our last super chat. Just want to double check. It's our last super chat for the night. Punk is crazy. Walked out of a Hell in a Cell match. Walks into War Games for the love of the game.
Gotta love a good cage match.
Yeah, I did not think this is where we would see CM Punk again. I think that he's gotten a lot of goodwill back because at one point people were wondering, like, I don't know, man, got injured in the Royal Rumble match. The SummerSlam match wasn't very good. But I think he got people back with the strap match because the strap match was solid. And then the Hell in a Cell match ended up being one of the top matches this year. So you can see now that people are excited to see him because, like, wait, this guy does still have it, especially in this kind of match that will kind of disguise his deficiencies.
Yeah.
I can see more of this, but man, what an episode of SmackDown! What a cliffhanger to lead into Full Gear Weekend. Survivor Series is next week. Appreciate you guys, of course, for coming again, sending your super chats, hopping in the chat and supporting us. What else you got going, Alex, other than this to promote?
Hey, man, make sure you guys follow me on the Blue Skies now. That's where everyone's chilling. That's where all the cool kids are hanging out from what I hear. Yeah, just go over there. I was able to verify my handle on there. So it's just alexiscardoza.com. Just search for that and you'll be able to find me. Or you can just go to alexiscardoza.com and follow everything that I do there. You can check out my other show that was pretty jolly, which is a show about all the great Christmas films that me and my co-host Dina are kind of putting together. Next week we sit down with Freddie Prinze Jr. because he did his very first Christmas film, Christmas with You, which is on Netflix. So we were able to sit down with him and talk to him. And obviously you guys know you can check out Wrestling with Freddie, which I produce as well, and every other project that I do on there. I usually promote it on Blue Sky and Threads. So yeah, freaking Thanksgiving week is here, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Big pay-per-view weekend. Got another big pay-per-view next weekend, holiday weekend. Hopefully you guys got your plans in place. I know where I will be, of course, going somewhere where someone's cooking.
Word.
This has been another Fightful Post show. Appreciate you guys. I'm Phil Lindsay. That's Alex. We're out of here.